Well, folks, what is happening? Welcome to Mentality Monsters episode 19, and today's guest is Marissa Callaghan. Marissa has went from playing on the streets of West Belfast to leading her country out in the European Championships and also her club team out in the Champions League group stages. Marissa has been a key figure in the last 20 years in the development and growth of the game in this country. She's seen it come from the grassroots level right up. She's worked as a community coach, and she's also provided some of the best memories for Northern Ireland fans. And I hope you enjoy today's episode. This here is the Marissa Callaghan story. Well, folks, welcome to Mentality Monsters, and today we're joined by Cliftonville and Northern Ireland's captain, Marissa Callaghan. Marissa, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Usually we just start here by where it all started and where you come from.
So basically I'm from West Belfast, Davis area. Grew up just loving sport, and primary school, I went to St Peter's Primary School on Ross Road and done a lot of sport. The biggest sport I suppose I joined in was the netball, because football wasn't really there for girls.
Yeah.
So played netball, basketball, had all the sports that you played out in the street, your rounders, two-man hunts, your everything, cribby, all up there. And football was just something I picked up kind of, I suppose, on the streets, and it wasn't until I was 13 that I actually joined my first team.
Was that's Newtown ladies, is it?
So Newtown, it was Newtown girls at the time, and it was through my youth leader, Marty Foyle. We used to go to these like 5-side tournaments in Mayfield every year, and it was just the girls, all mates. We were all mates. We used to go to the drop-in centre, and he signed us up every year, so we went down. And this one year, Newtown girls was in it, and Marty must get speaking to the manager and just said, "Listen, do you just want to go up, play for this team?" And there was 3 of us. Me and 2 mates went up to the Valley Leisure Centre. Never forget it. The grass pitches up there years ago. I don't know if you've ever been, and that was it. Never looked back.
Do you go to St Peter's Youth Club as well?
The Mecca was called.
I've been over there a few times myself, stuff they do even nowadays, because one of my mates used to work. I'm over there. Great work they do with the kind of pressures put on them within the area and stuff. They do
amazing quality work, and even back then, it was called Jerry Sweats at the time, and we used to have our wee Friday night discos and all, but it was something we went to every single night. All the youth of the area went. We were lucky because we had that was kind of when you were younger, and then when you got a little bit older, you had the Frank Gillen Centre, which is a drop-in centre, which we got a lot of personal development stuff there, so very lucky in terms of what we had.
See, when it comes to your education back then, how did you apply yourself in school?
Just done enough, but loved my sport. Always loved my sport. I always got my passes that I needed, but I never. I was happy to get my passes. And that
was there a school team you played for?
So in primary school it was netball. Secondary school it was basketball. The netball used to be really early in the morning, and all my mates, we used to walk up to school every morning and walk home. So I didn't want to miss out on my walk with my mates in the morning, so I joined the basketball team, which I loved. Played that.
You seem to be a woman of all trades here.
Here it was just something sports. I enjoyed. And played a bit of basketball. Football wasn't an option in school. Done a wee bit of camogie, and Gaelic football wasn't even a thing then.
No way, serious?
Even primary school, our boys were really good at it. They had the Gaelic football, but Gaelic or camogie could get introduced when I was in P6. We weren't very good because it's something you kind of have to go to a club and play. But we didn't get introduced to. I never got introduced to Gaelic football when I was younger.
What was it like growing up in Davis at that time? Was there much distractions out there?
There was loads. Used to have. Always loads of stolen cars. I always remember every year when the clock struck 12 and New Year's Eve, it was just many stolen cars just be up and down Albert Street just going nuts, and that was the thing we used to go and probably looked forward to see when you were younger, because it was just something that was
there much going on in the area at that time?
I actually remember being really young, and the cops were always a big thing back then. I mean, the troubles were over, but there's still things happening, and you used to have the pillars like in every street corner. I remember as a kid going up and being like, "Oh, lads, look through your gun and all," and you used to go and look through your guns. But like in terms of that, like in terms of there was a community, like we were really really close. Everyone knew each other. We used to have our street parties and stuff every summer.
Yeah.
I mean, in my street alone, there were so many of us that were the same age. So there was always
kind of
loads
blessed.
of so lucky because God, I wouldn't change my childhood for anything because we just had loads of fun like together,
Yeah.
just playing games in the whole area. And we had like St Congal School, which is just on top of my street, and there was like they had a gravel pitch, so we used to go to the school and play football like all the time, play on top of the street. Climb everywhere, like just done loads of just things.
Seeing you first started playing for Newtown ladies, see, because you were playing on the street, was a lot of your football like street football?
It was. I was never coached until then. So I was a forward. I remember my first match coming on as a forward, and it was tough, like, because it was like I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't think I knew what the offside rule is. Like I watched loads of football when I was younger, but it was just I just remember being like, my manager Mickey Smith, just every time I got the ball, he was shouting shoot. But yeah, it was kind of my first time being properly coached and everything.
What was the facilities and coaching like at that level at that time?
You would have. I mean, we only trained probably once a week, and you played a match once a week. I mean, I was 13. The age you had to be to play senior football, because it was a senior team.
Yeah.
Was 14. So.
That's still young as well.
Really young,
yeah.
And that rule actually didn't change until a couple of years ago. So I was in a team that was a mix. Like there were some young ones, there were some like older ones, like women. But yeah, like we used to, as I said, up in the Valley Life Centre, but then we moved a couple of years on. We moved to Cherryvale, so we used to train in Cherryvale every week, and it kind of stepped up to 2 nights a week. But you would have like an hour slot, so you would have trained like 2 hours a week, and then played a match every week. But I mean, even back then, our league was very very short. Like it would have been April to probably the end of August, depending, maybe September if you had to get into like cup final or whatever. So it was very little actual football, and the reason being was because the women's game played in the summer. For facilities, but see, once it got dark, you couldn't play because there was no facilities for us, because obviously all the men had the facilities with the lights, and I'm sure there wasn't even that many for them
at that
for
time.
them even. So that's why it was so short. As far as I know, that was the reason.
Did you ever think about like, or was there ever the decision of basketball or football, or was it always kind of?
No, it was always football. As soon as I got that opportunity to play in that team, that was me. Because I mean, once I was in the Newtown setup, then the international stuff started then to make. Yeah, I started to get opportunities there. So back then, the youngest was under 15, and even then, we didn't have a senior team at the time. So Northern Ireland didn't actually have a senior women's team. They did previous, but then it stopped for some reason. Probably just didn't support it in terms of funding and stuff. But at that time they were starting to build the youth then, so you had the under 15s, 17s and 19s. So I remember going for trials for them. So I started to get opportunities playing for Northern Ireland.
Where would they have been held?
Cherryvale
As well.
I actually remember going up and I used to run about in Celtic kits all the time when I was a kid. Even at that age, I suppose I would have been 14. So I remember going up for the trials, and the only kit I had was a Celtic kit. So I have not wearing my Celtic kit, but it was funny because
on the back foot already.
But all the other girls who had the Rangers kits, and so there was a lot of us wearing like kind of Celtic Rangers, and that was kind of the first time, we started to think about things like that in terms of, football. You're from this wee area in Divis, and you know everyone in your wee comfort zone, but that's whenever you started to meet people from different areas and backgrounds, and I suppose that was the start of friendships created and stuff as well.
At that time, was there any difficulties or any challenges you faced in playing football, or just in terms of the leagues at that time?
Just the shortage of game time and games. I mean, we weren't the best team. Newtown girls amalgamated with Cliftonville. But back then, the big teams were the Belfast Uniteds, who then are now Glentoran, Crusaders, Predators. They were all the big kind of women's teams, and we were just Newtown. We used to go and play the big teams, get absolutely hammered. But in terms of opportunities to play, you just had that kind of small season. But I mean, you didn't really know any different, because that was just your league, and that's when you played. And then in our off season, we had Anne Gurley took over at one stage from Mickey, and she was really good in the off season, so she got us indoors twice a week. So we would have trained together indoors twice a week.
Still doing something.
And done loads of stuff together, team building stuff. So she was really good in terms of keeping us together.
Was it more of a social hub as well?
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively. That's what it was about. I mean, if you think about it, if there's no international team back then, there wasn't really many professional teams. So becoming a professional player wasn't really the remit. That wasn't really the reason why you played. The reason why you played was because you were good at it, you loved it, and the social side. And we at Newtown were really close. There was loads of girls from North Belfast, and even the friendships I created then, they're still my best friends now. So we just had a ball. We had a great time.
See, at that age then, because there was no pathway to professional football, and a lot of people would have that in their mind at that age, that maybe professional football is something which they want to go on to do as a career. What did you want to do at that stage?
At that stage, so whenever I was younger, I always thought I wanted to be a PE teacher. I knew it was something with sport, but then whenever I started to play and get opportunities coaching, then I knew at that young age, and I was kind of 15, I started to coach the youth at Newtown Girls, because then Anne Gurley started to set up youth teams. And I started to get wee opportunities coaching, and it said I knew I wanted to go into football in terms of coaching. So my aim was to always work for the Irish FA, because to me that was the place that you could be, a football coach. So that was mine.
And did you have to go through badges at that stage?
So I went through the level 1 at the time, and had your mini leaders as well. So I started to get through them. Clubs started to put me through them. And then.
Did they pay for that as well?
Yeah. They must have had the funding for females through. That's kind of the love for coaching came about.
And is that well, obviously you're a leader now, and you were an ambassador as well. Was it with the 2017 under-19 Euros?
Yeah.
Were here? Do you think that's when your leadership ability and you started to be a leader started to develop at that stage?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, you know yourself, you get your awkward stages and stuff, but I mean, as a young kid, I remember sitting in school, where your teacher used to make you read out in front of the class. And I mean, my whole body used to erupt, but my face used to go real beetroot. So whenever I was younger and I was embarrassed, I went really red, right? So there was some stage whenever I was a kind of teenager that really affected me in terms of my confidence and stuff. So say fast forward now in terms of even sitting here with you, I've done speeches in front of hundreds of people. Don't get me wrong, I still feel the nerves. But if you had asked me when I was a teenager to fast forward to now what I've done the last couple of years, I would have said there is absolutely no chance. But it's just been throwing myself in the situations. One thing I've done my whole life is throw myself into situations that I've feared, and situations that are so awkward. See the amount of awkward situations I've walked out of and went, oh my god. But you know what, it's helped me so much be the person I am, and I think over the last number of years, in terms of being, I feel like I've almost been that face of the change in the women's game, just with being the ambassador, becoming the ambassador in 2000 and whenever the under-19s were here, as Northern Ireland women's captain, as captain of Cliftonville. I suppose people started to kind of get to know me and started to kind of ask me to do different things, and I think it just progressively became something part of me, in terms of leading and being that role model, and I suppose it's something that I'm really proud of, and I think when I reflect on my career when I retire, I'll be immensely proud of it.
Something that I seem to have asked all the guests now, because most of the guests are all working class, have come from a background, and then they've went on to do immense things. Do you ever think, like thinking back when you were in St. Peter's, that you would ever have been on stage, the world stage, which you've, I remember actually seeing the Northern Ireland and England match, the first game of the Euros, because it was the first game of the Euros, live on ITV.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that you would be in such an iconic event, or playing at Wembley, all that? Or
Never. I mean, it was an absolute dream come true for us. But it was, to be honest, whenever you were younger, you would never have imagined that we would get those opportunities. As I said, when I was a 13-year-old kid joining the first team, there wasn't even a senior women's team. And even whenever we were playing those qualifying games, I mean, we still, at the beginning of that campaign, Kenny Shields just come in, took over the senior women's team, and that was the first actual time that the senior women's only had one manager. And even whenever he just come in, and this the qualifying campaign was starting, it was never something that we were thinking, right, we're going to qualify for this, because it was never possible for Ireland, because we never believed that we could do something like that, until we did. But no, like thinking back and thinking now, like it's just
incredible,
unbelievable, like what's happened. And actually, funny story, when I was younger, I remember keeping up the ball. Like I used to love doing keep ups. That was a guy, my next door neighbour, Caine was an unbelievable player. I remember torturing him, teaching me how to do keep ups with both feet. I remember for hours, like practicing these keep ups, hours. And one day I was at the, so I used to, in the street, when you, every day, you just used to practice yourself. Just keeping up. The wee priest, because we live right beside St. Peter's Cathedral, come over to me and he says, one day I'm going to see you in the Olympics, right? And I laughed at him. I always think back to that though, and then there was another thing my mum said to me, my granny, she gave me this wee Our Lady statue. I still have it. It comes to every game of me, and my granny had said, our Marissa is going to be in the world stage one day. And I remember my mum saying that to me when I was younger, and I don't know, it's just coincidence.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's class.
But it's just things like that, and I'll never forget those kind of wee comments that was said. But
you bits of belief that people could put in you.
That could have been something that was nailed in my head, yeah.
Do you think, see now when you look back on it, would you always be there to help the next generation come through if anybody came to you for the next advice and things like that there?
Absolutely. For me, in terms of getting the captaincy and stuff, like Alfie Wiley made me captain just a couple of years whenever I started back into the squad, and I know my role is who I am in terms of wanting to put my arm around people, like care for people. I want to see people do really well. I'm not, you get these players who I admire, by the way, who are just, I'm the best player, and it's about me, and you know what, they're amazing in terms of their mindset, but I would say I'm the opposite, and sometimes can be detrimental as well, because I want my teammates to do well, I want young players to do well, I want everyone to do well, and in terms of if that's to sacrifice something for myself, then I'm okay with that, if you get me, what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I'm an older player now, and it's just something that I really take the hardest, is trying to make players as best they can be. And I suppose at the minute, and even the club level, there's a lot of younger players, and they're unbelievable players, like the talent that they have, they don't even realise. And I think my role is to just try and make them believe that they can be so much more. But yeah, I take it very seriously, and I mean, I think the reason why I'm still playing is because I think it can give that kind of say to it, and kind of help them through before.
Kind of James Milner. James Milner's like a veteran pro, and he's always there to guide players through and like a mentor them. The way you said there that there's like moments there where you're sitting there going to yourself, oh fuck. Is there any specific moment that stands out to you, like an awkward moment where you go to yourself, oh shit? So I remember
it was whenever I was in the Ambassador Road, just started. So basically in the Ambassador Road, what happened was the ICFA got funding to employ 2 ambassadors to work alongside Alfie Wiley to raise the game.
Yeah.
But you had to be in the international team, and you actually had to be a starting 11 in the international team to go for it. So there was a few of us who went for it. Me and Julie Nelson got the jobs. So we were then full-time employees at the ICFA. That was my foot in the door.
Yeah.
But I remember the Sarah Booth was working at the ICFA at the time, and she UEFA pumped a lot of money into creating like the youth team. So it was our very first under 17 girls youth league. It was starting up. Now it was only like a 6-week thing. But there was like they got like loads of kids. It was a big deal. So the launch happened up in the Olympia Life Centre, the old Olympia.
Yeah.
So I was captain of Northern Ireland at the time. They asked me to go up. So it's my first time kind of doing, because back then nobody wanted to know. But anyway, we had this launch and they asked me to go up. So I was like, yeah, I'll go up. So I remember like didn't know what to expect. Like so nervous about it. So we're not fully cut out my tracksuit, and they were like, right, we'll want you to go up and say a few words. Now there wasn't that many people in the room. There was like a couple of captains of the wee girls teams, coaches, a couple of photographers, whatever. Probably 30 people max. So I got up and stood in front of them all, and I panicked and wrote something out on my phone. I was like, right, I'll just write it on my phone. And whenever I got up, I just couldn't speak. Froze, completely froze.
Is there any media training?
No, nothing. But I mean, see younger ones now who I play with, like they're amazing. Like you're talking, we 17, 18, 19-year-olds that stand in front of the camera and they're just so natural. But see me, and I mean I was in my 20s at the time, and see whenever I had to do that, like I completely froze to the meltdown.
I think it's the generational thing as well, just because a lot of people on TikTok and stuff like that there as well, I can sit there, speak and do dances and stuff like that there, where they're sitting there now, and it's so easy to like record yourself like in front of a camera, where I would say back in the day, I mean there was none of that there.
No.
The first time you're probably like on a camera and like an interview role or speaking on a camera, there's probably something like that there.
Yeah, like I can't even listen to myself back whenever I hear myself in an interview.
I've never watched one of these podcasts.
No, see,
I've never watched one.
I'm like that too.
I think I made Sean McComb on there, and Sean McComb, like after that fit last week, his was a bit mad. I might watch that other one, but I might watch just wee bits, wee snippets, like even the clips, stuff like that there. I think the guy had to say to my cousin Jerry, I go, like, what was that like? I just like can't watch it. We'll go back till 2000 or 2002. Wasn't you had your under 19 debut?
Yeah.
That's well as I got that there just on an article. See just the setup then in the under 19, because under 19s is quite like you've got under 21s and then that's I mean that's at the most like senior. For the first team, what was the setup like then in terms of the facilities, the coaching, even just the equipment you used?
Yeah, so like we were trained in Blanchflower. The old Blanchflower was the place where you done all the trials and stuff.
Is that part of Move Welders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what happened back then? You would have went. So it was you wait for European qualifiers under 19s, and that's what you played in. And that was all you played in. It was that one tournament. And that was the same for like 17s, 19s, yeah. And so what happened was there was like a trial period. So you'd done your trials, and then the squad came out, and then you went to play in it. So I mean, whenever I think back, like Ian Stewart was our coach in under 15, under 17 level, and then Shimmy Heath took over the under 19 stuff, so he was our under 19 coach. So I mean, we did have good coaches with great experience back then. Remember the Patrick was the gear, but it was always like the men's fit. So we used to have massive like men's fit tracksuits.
Tops and all.
The kits were massive. But I suppose back then it was something that you had at club as well, so it was just normal for us. So yeah, the facilities were okay. I mean, I remember I mean, the free ramped up there. Now it's all like brilliant.
A few weeks ago, like,
back then, I remember we played a match amongst each other, and it was a real heavy rainfall a couple of days before. Even that morning, whenever we arrived, there was just massive puddles on the pitch. We were playing this match with like these massive puddles like everywhere.
Yeah, and you just had to soldier on.
Just had to play because that's it was just the pitches. But yeah, after under 19. Again, at that time, the senior women still wasn't established. It wasn't established till 2004. But between that time, that's whenever I went to America on scholarship.
How did that come about?
It was just by fluke. Like, the manager over there, so the head coach over there in University of Montebello was from Dublin, and she herself went over on a scholarship like back in her day, and then she became like a coach and then took over Montebello. But she had heard of me through word of mouth, so I just remember it was word of mouth, and then she had contacted Anne, who was our manager, and said then she wanted to come up and watch me play and stuff, and that's kind of how it came about. And they offered me a scholarship. There was another girl in my team, Joanne McCarthy, that got offered one as well, and both of us just went over. And so that was in the January, I think. And then, we up and left in August. That year. I stayed for 2 years. Then Joanne stayed full time. She stayed the whole 4 years, because when you go over there, it's a 4-year scholarship. You get 4 years schooling and you play for 4 years. But I only stayed for 2. Whenever I first went over, I get red-shirted. It was so red-shirted means that you couldn't actually compete in the league for a full year, because it was to do with my. So I done like the whole word sense, and I didn't get the level that they wanted, or they didn't recognise it. Yeah. So whenever I went over there, I kind of had to wait until the next year. I had to do like a couple extra courses to make up the GPA, the grade point average. So it was a big setback. Like, so.
Were you still training though?
I'm still training and stuff. But it was a tough first year, and I really missed home. And I could have went home after a week, but I wouldn't allow myself. I wouldn't allow myself to do that, because one thing about me is I wouldn't want to have any regrets. So I stuck at it. So stayed the full year. Came back my second year, where I was able to play, and really struggled. I struggled massively. The heat absolutely killed me. I just couldn't get into it. Wasn't enjoying the football side of it. Amazing away from the football in terms of everything else, but the football side of it, I just struggled. And so I told myself, that there's no point being here if it's not progressing with football. So I came home, and everything actually really worked out for me. I grew massively over there, as a person. I'm really glad I'd done it, and I got what I needed from it. But when I came home, things started to kind of got into place that I needed. Like, I remember just coming home, and I was like, right, what's my options here? Got a full-time job in Tony Roma's through my brother-in-law. So worked there. I was making a load of money. It was brilliant because it was so busy, and the tips were unbelievable. So I was in there, like, working full-time. And then I was playing football. So Monday, Wednesdays would have been my days off. That was my football days. And then the rest of the days I was working. And an opportunity came up through my best friend through Castlereagh Borough Council, and they have like all this funding to train so many females up in different like sports courses. So for like a full year, I done like loads of level 1s, like fitness instructor, like loads of different courses, course after course after course. Spoofed my dress was in Castlereagh, like, to get in. But I tell you what, it was one of the best things I've ever done. So lucky. It was like an education employability program, and what I got from that in terms of what I needed for employability going forward, the confidence I got in terms of wanting to progress my coaching career, learned so much from it. And then from then I decided then to go and study a sports coaching degree in Georgetown. So I was able to manage everything, playing football, study, and
working flat as well.
For the aim of becoming an employee of the Irish FA as a coach. It was just that was always my aim. Again, at the time, the senior women's was set up, but it was something I couldn't commit to because I had so much else going on. And to be honest, when I was that age, I thought I loved going out at the weekend. I loved, like.
Were you still playing? So we just had a wee break there. Yeah, if you want to just bring us back there to your drinking days.
The good old days. I know, so I'm in my 20s, and the senior women's international team set up at this time, but because I was so busy with uni and work and socialising and football, it was just something that I couldn't commit to. So I mean, Cliftonville, we were so close as a team, like we done a lot of socialising together, so I spent most of my early 20s socialising in city centre and Union Street and Kremlin. I remember every Sunday night, there used to be like a Sunday bingo show. I don't know if it's still on, could be still on, but we used to go every Sunday night to a Sunday bingo show, and Monday morning used to be rough out in the morning.
Would you have worked on the Monday as well, or?
I didn't work. I went to uni on the Monday night though, so probably for a full year on a Monday night going to uni was tight. But listen, it was brilliant times, and I wouldn't change them.
See, when you came back from America, how long was it until you rejoined Newtown Ladies Cliftonville?
So whenever I came back from America, because of there was a point where I was like, I think I'm done playing, and I don't know if it was because of the bad experience I had in terms of playing over there, that I kind of felt, you know what, I've done everything. I've played international, clubs been great, because we were winning like championship and stuff.
Yeah.
I went to America. I'm thinking ready to just go and work, and yeah, probably party and put the head down and just stay. So Anne, who just spoke about before, who was manager, basically didn't see me and phoned me and was just like, what are you doing? Like, wise up, you get back to training. And I did, I went back. I mean, obviously it lasted a wee bit longer than that, but long story short, she told me to wise up, so I did, and I went back. And yeah, I suppose I never really looked back, and again, yeah, we even got tighter. New players come in from different, a few players from Derry, a couple from Strabane, like created more friendships, and yeah, we just had a ball.
What were, like, see Derry, were they in your league at that stage?
At that stage we were in the NIWFA league, so we were in the championship, and we were actually like the top team in the championship at the time, and there was a team, what did you call them, Institute, and they were like the Derry team at the time. It wasn't Derry City, it was Institute, and yeah, they were decent. They were probably one of our kind of rivals. They had some cracking players, some real good players back then, and there was a team. There was actually some real good players too from the likes of like Fermanagh and stuff, as well. But no, it was a good time in terms of us. We started to get better players in, and we started to win the championship, started to win cups, but what kept happening during that time was we were going up to the Premier League, so we were going up to the top league, but then we were falling back down again because we just weren't kind of good enough.
Quality gap there, like?
Yeah, it was there, so we kept going up and then down, and it took us 3 times to actually stay in the Premier League. Again, the Premier League was run by the Northern Ireland Women's Football Association, so all the women's football was run by them. Yeah. It's different now because NFL takes the Premiership, and then NIWFA is everything else. But we eventually stayed up in the Premiership. You're talking probably 2000 and I'd say probably about 12 years ago maybe. So we've been in.
Still quite
very recent, yeah, very very recent. And we stayed kind of mid-table, and then Marty came in and kind of took. You know Mel? You do know Marty Douglas, Cliftonville, surely.
No.
You don't know him?
No.
Well, he's a big Cliftonville man. I used to.
But that's about it.
I have him on my phone as Marty Mellon. He's called Mellonhead, right? He'll call me first. But no, listen, he's a big Cliftonville man. He would have worked a lot with the men in terms of the reserves and stuff.
Yeah.
So he came in and took over us probably 6-7 years ago, and he was brilliant for us because he was Cliftonville through and through. It was tough for him, like, because he was one guy and he done everything. He was our manager, our coach, like organised everything. A couple of the players would have kind of helped him a bit, but he kind of took it to another level, whereas we started to there was one year we actually came second in the league, and we won the Irish Cup and the League Cup in the same year. It was 2015 actually. We had a real good team at the time.
Yeah.
That was probably our most successful year, like from I was 13, because we were in the Premier League, and that was like, the Irish Cup was massive,
Yeah.
obviously. And then winning the League Cup, so we won 2 cups in that year. I think that was probably his first year under us. And then that year we started to lose a couple of senior players. They retired, so we're kind of rebuilding again. And then we floated the next couple of years, kind of mid-table again. And then a guy, Shamey, came in, took us, and it ended up a bit of a disaster, because although I thought he was brilliant, he was really good in terms of, I liked him because he made me work just that wee bit harder. Like he worked us to the ground in terms of like running and stuff pre-season, but a lot of our players like drifted away and walked away because they couldn't cope with it. It was a wee bit too hard on them. So again, that kind of all went up in the air, and that was kind of the COVID year. So we're sitting with no manager, no coach. COVID's about to hit. Cliftonville was almost like at the end. Not gonna lie, it was almost with no real support from anybody, and yeah, it was very close to just being outless. I remember actually going, what am I gonna do? Like, who am I gonna play for? Like, I couldn't play for another team. I'd just spent the last 20 years playing for the same team. But to be fair, see that time, that was the time international football wasn't working either, and it was lack of support. There was one guy doing everything. I started to lose a bit of interest in it. It was probably the second time where I was like, is this my time to retire? Do I need to walk away here and just focus on being a coach? Not to jump ahead, but just so at the time the club and international was just at a lull, and I was like, right, it's
What year put this in?
So this was 2018, 19, around that time. But we then, you know, as a international team, we started to put our heads together and go, right, we need a bit more support here.
Yeah.
And we opened up communications with the association, and the association were brilliant. And we just wanted things like, you know, one person to look after the senior women's team, just to give us a chance. Because Alfie Wiley was the senior women's manager in 1917s, 16s, all the youth. Like, he looked after hundreds of players, and we just were never going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So in 2019, Caine Shields was employed as the international manager, and his sole focus was women's international team. That kind of years, whenever Cliftonville started to kind of, it was iffy, and then COVID hit, and our reserve management team, so Brandy Lynch, Marty, John, all them kind of come in and took over the ladies, because the reserves couldn't train.
Yeah.
Because the ladies could train because we were seen as elite footballers. So they come in on an interim basis to kind of take over us. And thankfully they absolutely loved it, and decided, you know, we're gonna lead the women's team. And the last couple of years has been phenomenal in terms of what they've done and what we've achieved as a team.
Especially like being Champions League and stuff like that there, and I'll come back to that there, just because again, the first Cliftonville captain to lead their team in the Champions League group stage, male and female. I mean, it's very impressive. See, in the women's game, I know in the men's game there seems to be, is there any beef, like, say the way Cliftonville, Linfield, Glens and Cruisers, you know what I mean, you can tell, is the same for women's game?
Massive. You just hate everybody. Everybody hates everybody.
That's classic. I remember one of my mates, I don't know if you know him, Connor Hayes. He's he goes to all the Cliftonville matches. He's a coach in the junior teams. I'm not too sure.
I would definitely know.
Like 100. You couldn't miss his head. But I remember years ago he says he hates Linfield from their under 8s straight through their first team. And I was like, that's
what it's like. Do you know what? It's like, see the reserve management team coming in and taking over us. They were Cliftonville people through and through, and you need that. You need that, because especially back then, whenever they come in to take over us, because they then have the relationships with the club, and they will fight tooth and nail, and it's hard. See, I mean, it's hard being a manager in any sport, but see, being a manager in the women's game, and it's just like hitting your head off a brick wall sometimes, because you're trying to fight for things that people aren't. You're
take
second.
for granted in the
You're
next
like a
game.
second thought, and at the end of the day, we're just starting to get. The game's starting to grow and grow, and amazing things have happened, and but we're still second thought,
Yeah.
and it's just trying to change that mindset, which will come eventually.
Was there much of a difference in the state of training or the intensity when they took over compared to before?
Yeah, so massively. Like when they took over, I remember Brandy came in the first training session, and he gave this speech on. I actually going back to that. I actually remember whenever he told me that they were going to take over us, and I'm not going to lie, I cried my eyes out because it was such a relief for me, because I was like, I'm going to have to give up football here because I can't play for another club.
Yeah.
So I did. Like, I got emotional because I was like, thank God, and I knew that they were the right fit for it. So it was just a whole nother level of professionalism, and creating that environment, that winning environment, and that mentality of like your base professionalism, because a lot of the time it was a lot of the time growing up for me playing, it was social, and obviously whenever I got back into the Northern Ireland team, like I started to really focus and take it seriously and everything, and it was frustrating for me that players beside me, we were playing in the Premier League for Cliftonville, and players next to me weren't taking it seriously. Like you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in this country, like start acting like it. But so you had that gulf of player, like you had a group that played it, were professional, and everything they'd done, and then you had that group that was still playing it socially. So it was like trying to bring this mix together. So what they had to come in is just to completely change the environment.
Change the culture in it.
The culture was massive. That change of culture was massive. And you know what they done in the first year, like their first year being in, and we were second in the league, and we just had an amazing run, and it was just changing people's mindsets, and the ones who didn't want to change then walked away, and he brought in some outstanding players, McGuinness sisters, Louise McDaniel, Castle Burrows, Abby McGee, like a lot of players who were youth international players, and players that had that good mentality.
Or it's like, because the elite mentality, especially I'd say playing at that level, and then exactly in Northern Ireland, like career as well, and then playing like the Champions League, you need to have that set of, not standards, but that set there that you don't fall below the bar. And
like I found myself really lucky, because when I was younger I had that social part of it, and then when I got a little bit older, like 27 was whenever I fully went head first into the international setup. I've told this story loads of times. Alfie Wiley used to, anytime I seen him, he used to be like, when he come to training, like come get to training type thing. And I remember I got a job, full-time football coach at a company called Belfast Sport Development Network, and I worked alongside the Irish FA. I remember going up to the old winter offices one day. Alfie Wiley put me into his office, and I was like, here we go. And he sat me down, and I tell you what, I left that office going, he's right. He sat me down and basically gave me this pep talk, this ultimatum, like, I'm giving you this opportunity to come and play for your country. Like, we're about to go in the World Cup qualifying campaign. Like, take the opportunity. He almost like gave me a shake. Take the opportunity. And I remember coming out and being like, what am I doing? Like, if I don't take this opportunity, I have massive regrets. And that was one thing that I always feared, is having regrets. I always knew I was good enough to be part of it, but I suppose I don't really know what kept me back. The busyness of everything else, maybe the drinking, the partying.
Rehearsed that there in Amira about a million times, just waiting on the opportunity to
I
speak.
don't know. I tell you what, it was. And I mean, as cheesy and corny as this sounds, it was a moment to change my whole entire life, because I walked out of that, went home, spoke to family, spoke to my partner, and went to training that Sunday, and that was kind of, I never looked back in terms of international stuff, but I had that kind of social side. So then whenever I started to kind of really go, like, take it seriously and everything that I done, like, obviously I socialised, but I mean, I was fully focused on getting myself fully fit to be an athlete, and to be a really good one. And so whenever I started to shift in this kind of mindset, I could see both with the younger ones, because I was like, you know, they are young and they do, you have to be young, but at the same time, so I understood that why they couldn't kind of shift the mindset, but I tried to kind of bring them with me in terms of, you know, enjoy your social side, but do it at the right times.
Was there any players that did come along that journey with you?
One player that has really come along the journey, and I'm so proud of her. She's is Tony Lee Finnegan. So I actually remember picking her. We picked her. Me and my best friend was in Caffrey's one time. We were watching like Champions League final or something, and Tony Lee was only a wee nipper. She was only about 8, 9 maybe, and she was running about, and you could tell she was a wee footballer, you know, wee tomboy, sporty. And she was cheeky, like a wee cheeky chap, like she would have talked to anyone. So she'd come over and she was like waffling away, and her mum and all was her, and so we talked to her mum, and she was playing for Willowbank boys at the time. And at that stage, the female game for the young ones was only like a 6-week like summer programme for them. So they could have played boys football and then played girls football in the summer. But I would have trained I was actually the coach of our underage ones at that time in Cliftonville, because I kind of started up the youth structure at it through my job. So anyway, I says to her mum, get her over to training for us, whatever. So I was at, she came over, her and her sister. So she's gone through the ranks from then. So I coached her right through until she became like a senior player with the Reds.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's played under all the underage groups and with international. She always played senior women's international, and this year you can just see her like really coming into her own, like leadership ways. You know, she's really focusing on, you know, her strength and conditioning. She's an absolute baller. See the control she has on the ball, unbelievable. She's number 6, like quality she has, but she always kind of had to work on other wee things in terms of like leadership, S&C and stuff like that. So I suppose like she's confided in me a lot. Like she would always turn to me. And
what's that like for you, seeing that journey of development?
Honestly, I see even last night, whenever at half time, it was 2-2 at half time, and to be honest, I sat with my head down at half time, and I've never actually done this before. I sat with my head down at half time, and all I could think about was giving that ball away for them equalising, because I felt terrible for the players, because they give so much to the game. And I was like, because I'd done it before. Last year, Cara Hamilton scored. We were beating them 2-0. Cara Hamilton scored. They came back, drew 2 each. And you know what? It actually lost. When you think back, it was probably one of those moments that maybe could have lost us the league.
Yeah.
Because if we had won that game at home. Anyway, so done it again last night. I was sitting feeling sorry for myself half time. Don't know why. Just sitting there. Just felt terrible for the players. Tony Lee grabs me and started giving me this pep talk. And you know what? Last night I actually texted her being like, mate, I'm actually so proud of you for doing that. Do you know what? That leadership role. So she got me out of that wee rut that I was in for a couple of minutes. So listen, I'm excited to see where her kind of
career goes.
She's on the right path. That one.
When did you make your Northern Ireland debut?
So I made my debut in 2010, and it was a one-off. So it was against Scotland. I remember Alfie had put me on and was like, we're going to play Scotland, like will you come and play? And I went and I played. It was only like a day trip. Went over in the boat, played them and then come back. And but then I fell away from it again. So because it wasn't like a year year round thing. It was kind of like a one-off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 2012 where I then played again, and I played a couple of games in 2012, and then that's whenever I kind of kick-started kind of 2013-14, I think, whenever the World Cup qualifier started, and that was me. So what is this now, 2024? So yeah, over
been in the setup
for 12 years. I've been in the setup consistently for 12 years.
And I'd say, I don't know, like in terms of both male and female, if you've been in the setup as well from under 15s, what age would you have been there?
So it was 27 there. 2012, sorry. What am I now? 38? So yeah, do the math.
Well, you've been in this. You've been in the setup for 20+ years, like
But in
all
the setup,
together.
all together from 20+ years.
And what changes have you seen in the senior setup from then till now?
It's night and day. I mean, as I said, back then you had a couple of weeks of trials. You had your tournament, and then that was it. Nothing until the next year.
See now, is it more? See the way clubs, like the list comes out for the international team.
Mm-hmm.
Is there Northern Ireland scouts that'll go and watch your match, and then they'll pick it, or is there still trials?
No, the trials haven't been there
Gone.
for a while. So it really shifted massively. Now, whenever Caine took over in 2019, now him coming in and that being his sole focus was one of the reasons, but another reason was the awareness of the women's game was starting to grow. The association was starting to fund it more and really get behind it and really support the women's game in every aspect, like right from youth right up. So like, for example, I mean, I was in a role as a girls participation officer at the time, and our sole focus was 3 of us employed, and our sole focus was to get more girls involved in the game. So we would have been all around the country, like giving opportunities for young girls through like programs like Shooting Stars program, which were aimed at girls aged 4 to 11, Disney programs. So the association was starting up these amazing programs.
Become more active.
Yeah, things like Electric Ireland. Electric Ireland has been incredible in terms of raising awareness for the game. They came in, I'd say it was kind of around when Caine came in, which is 2019, and I don't know if you've seen them, but the billboards all around Belfast just showing people that the women's game was there, and social media, they were brilliant in terms of raising awareness and showing people that the women's game was there. So things like that started to come in, and we almost like build momentum. We were building momentum, and then I think the massive shift was us qualifying for the Euros. The massive shift, because we then started to see, in my job, I seen it with my own eyes, young girls reaching out wanting to play the game.
Yeah.
So it started to become really easy for us because we had girls wanting to play. Clubs being set up everywhere. Like, for example, Fermanagh was one of my councillors that I looked after. Back then there was no senior women's team. Couple of teams kind of in that area playing, and now they're just about to launch the BKYL Youth League down there in the female game.
Like a local league.
Yeah, and they have like hundreds of teams in terms of the girls game and like different age levels. Hundreds of girls down playing weekly basis in leagues. So like,
are the facilities there for them as well?
Yeah, like they have a facility down there. It's brilliant, 1 acre, and that's where they all go. That's the hub down that way. But yeah, so as you say, facilities are starting to come up, and even an example with us is Cliftonville. Like when Cliftonville had grass, we had to train in Cherryville and stuff, and other places we had to train up in Mollusk, because we couldn't train in the grass because they had to look after it for the men. But once that went in the 3G and the artificial surface, then we got the opportunity to train with the facilities at the bend. So facilities are starting to get better. I mean, we'll have to go a massive way as a whole in Northern Ireland in terms of the game. There's loads we have to do in facilities, but yeah, just like we changes like that has kind of helped. But the growth has been immense. But I think the momentum right up until the Euros, and then even now, and you look at the international setup and our club setup. Last year the professional contracts started to be handed out then, so we are now on professional contracts as Cliftonville players. And we have everything we need, with physio support. This year it's just come in, we're now, we all have, if anything ever happens to us, we're covered in terms of insurance. Which the club is, has put in and they're funding that. So things like that we would never have had, we're starting to have. So they're looking after the player individually and every player within the club, and then internationally, I got a new manager there last year, Tanya who's came from Chelsea. She's worked in the elite game like for a long time, and yeah, she's come in and she's completely came in with this just elite mindset. It's taken us to a whole nother level in terms of what she's trying to do with the structure and the process, and yeah, it's just amazing to see someone come in and see how she kind of is working everything.
Do you think she will take you to a level above the what you were when you qualified for the Euros?
So whenever we qualified for the Euros, we were a team. Before then, we were a team backs against the wall, don't get beat. Caine came in and completely shifted our mindset, and he gave us all so much self-belief, and as a group and individually, and he was so good at analysing everything, just the small details. Yeah. So every time we went out on the pitch, we knew everything about the opposition. We knew exactly what we had to do on and off the ball, and because they were so good at analysing the weaknesses of the other team. Yeah. Tanya is completely different in terms of she has a structure that we both play with, but within that structure she's creating all these different scenarios. So she's creating a player who can think for themselves. So that's the difference. Yeah. So in terms of the growth especially with our younger players, it's working in that area. The improvement in them is going to be.
So she, when she has to say she's trying to change the mindsets of the senior team, would she have an influence on the junior teams and what they're trained in, or in terms of their mentality?
So that's the next big thing in terms of the structure of the female setup. So they've invested in, so Gail Redmond is now the 17-19 manager, so she solely focuses on the M2 age groups. Yeah. And then Danielle McDowell solely focuses on the MPP stuff, so that's our National Performance Centres. We've got 4 of them, so that's all kind of the 2012s, 2011, 2010, under 15s, type, under 16 age group. So they are constantly working together in terms of developing the player. So Danielle's working with the younger age group. She kind of has to start. She'll kind of have her ethos in terms of what she wants a player to look like when they finish that. And then obviously the 17s and 19s would be more closely linked with the senior setup in terms of what we're working on. They have a close link there. So if you have a kid who's under 17, a couple of years makes it into the senior setup, then they'll it'll just be like an easy shift for them.
So you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but as of now, 72 caps and 9 goals. Is that correct?
I don't blame you for getting this wrong, because I literally just Marshall, who does all the stats for the. Do you know Marshall does all the stats for NF football? Anyway, so he was given the job to look at all the senior women's caps to make sure they were all correct. Yeah. Because on Google mine says 72 and the Irish mine says 89, and so it's all different. But anyway, I literally got confirmation that I'm on 91 caps.
91 caps?
91
You're
caps.
a centurion?
Nearly there. Nearly there.
Do you think are you going to go for the 100?
So it wasn't anything that came in that I thought about, to be honest, because I didn't think. Whenever I reached my 50th cap was in 2019 in Turkey. Alfie Wiley was the manager, and I remember that being a massive aim to reach 50 caps. Yeah. To be honest, I didn't think 100 caps was in it, because obviously we don't play that many games we didn't, previous to that year we qualified, we played so many, but before then we didn't play that many games. Whenever I remember us talking about it, and I'm going, there's no way, I would be too old, I would never get it. But because of our success in recent years, we've had so many more games. Yeah. So now it's a reachable target. Yeah. So for me, we all like to set goals. I always have a goal to set, and 38 now, I'm a veteran player, and I need a goal, because I know I'm not going to be in the starting 11 all the time, but I'm there. I know that kind of my role is there to kind of help the younger ones and stuff. But I think if I can still make an impact on the pitch and off the pitch, my aim is to get to the 100.
That would be very impressive. Would you be the first female player to reach 100 caps?
No. Julie Nelson. She made history. The first player. I think she's got like 130 caps.
130 caps.
130 caps. Julie Nelson has been there. The same with Sarah Mack. Sarah Mack has over 100. She made her 100th cap there recently. And Ashley Hutton as well. So they're the three that's made 100.
Yeah.
And they've been there from the beginning. Like we all played together at those youth level. But in 2000. The senior women's team started, them three were there.
Say if you didn't go to America, you'd possibly be in and around that there?
Don't know. Again, I still had my social life and everything else back then. Don't know. You don't know what could happen, but I mean, I feel they probably could have had a lot more than that. Only like a lot of them has had like big injuries, like ACL injuries and stuff that kind of stopped them.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah Mack went out, had a baby and come back, which kind of is the reason why she only made hers recently. So they had like gaps as well within the playing grade for different reasons. Although I had my gap at the very beginning, I've been really lucky to have 12 straight years, touch wood, that without big things in terms of injury that's impacted me playing. So listen, my aim is to reach 100 caps, and I'll do everything that I can to make sure that I'm right for that in terms of, you know, physically, mentally. So yeah, that's my target.
That's the goal.
Obviously, it's beyond my control in terms of, I mean, I can't just make myself pick myself for international squads. I mean, that's a senior women's job, but I'll definitely do everything in my power to make sure that I'm right mentally and physically to do it.
Can you bring me through your qualifying campaign and the journey of that there?
Yeah, so like So in UEFA, so we have like our group was Norway, Wales. So this is the seeding. So basically, according to UEFA, Norway was the top seed. They would automatically go through. The second seed was Wales, third seed was Belarus, Northern Ireland was fourth seed, and then the fifth seed was Faroe Islands. So according to UEFA, we should have finished fourth in that group.
Yeah.
Just because of where we were in terms of their ratings. So I remember when Caine first came in, so our first 4 competitive games were between September and December, and they were the 4 hardest in the group. So there were the 2 Norway games and the 2 Wales games. So we had Norway home, Wales away, the first 2 games, and then the second 2 games was Norway away, Wales at home. So we played Norway at home, and lucky enough we'd had a couple of camps under Caine before it, so we did play his style of play in terms of playing out from the back and stuff. We got hammered 6-0, but at the same time you could see the shift in terms of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
We created opportunities, we played out from the back, we played some real good football, but unfortunately we were just too strong. There was loads of crosses coming in, and very, very good, too strong. 6-0.
Would they be a physical team?
Yeah, one of the top teams. They're one of the top teams in women's football. So then the next game was Wales away. It was actually Ashley Hutton's 100th cap, so she wore the armband. So we played Wales away, and we went up 1-0. Simone McGill scored the first goal. Then they came back 2-1. Last couple of minutes of the game, we get a free kick, and Demi Fance takes the free kick. Now she'll argue with me here, and it has been a bit of a joke amongst the players, but she fluffed the free kick, but it still went into the box where it had to go into, and it just fell lovely for the keeper, like palmed it down, and it just fell lovely for Ashley Hutton, and she hit it in. So it was 2-2, 100th cap, 2-2, last minute equaliser against Wales. Right now, at that time we still didn't realise how important that game would have been. Like towards the end of the. So anyway, next to Norway beat us again, 6-0 away, and we played Wales at home. And it was a 0-0 draw. So we had the 2 top teams. Norway hammered us twice, but the second team in terms of the top tier, we had 2 draws, and the big thing was we had 2 away goals, and they didn't have any away goals. Again, we didn't know at this time how important that was. So then, I'm near sure COVID not hit us in the qualifying campaign. COVID not hit. So the next game we played was Faroe Islands away, and it was, I remember it so well because I actually got COVID and couldn't travel. We trained. It was brilliant because we were able to train 3 times a week together, because nobody was working, and we were able to train under elite. So Kenny and Dean had us 3 times a week, which was amazing. Cause
where would that have been? In Libya?
no, we went down to, oh God, where was it? Can't even remember where it was. It'll come to me in a wee second. It's beside Blahy, down in.
Fuck, that's a bit far.
I was down there. It'll come to me. So we went down there every Saturday morning for a while, but we got 3 times a week. So then we had Furrows, went over there, beat Furrows, hammered Furrows actually. I think it was, what was the score? Although I was at home, I didn't get to watch it because it wasn't on TV. But when out there I got the result, and then the next game I had to play was Belarus, and then another Furrows game. So Belarus, we played away, right? I was on the bench. I remember going in to go to the toilet, to go to the bathroom, and I'm gonna wash my hands. Here's someone storming into the change room, like sobbing, crying, like what is going on? It was our goalkeeper. So I went in. Jackie's crying hysterically, gets sent off. So my first thought is, shit, she's got a red card here. Well, obviously she's got a red card. She's given away a penalty here. You know, but we at this stage we knew we had to beat Belarus if we were going to qualify for the playoff. So anyway, so I goes out, but it ends up it was just a free kick. She took her out outside the box, which was a bit of a relief. So the free kick went, that was dead on. So it's 0-0. We're down to 10 players. I had to take Kirsty McGuinness off to put on another defender. So anyway, we get a corner, and we'd actually worked in the corner like all week, like that week. And it was Danny Vance swung in, left foot, back post. Rachel Furness head, bang, goal, 1-0 up. So we just backs against the wall, like defended for our lives for the rest of the game. So got the win, right? Got the win against all odds because Belarus were a decent team. Against all odds, got the win with 10 players. Nearly sure Jackie got sent off the first half as well, so it was an incredible win.
5 backs against the wall from the get-go.
So this is whenever we started to be like holy shit, we could actually have a playoff here. But at the same time, Norway and Wales were playing, and we needed Norway to beat Wales. It was 1-0, so we're sitting in the change rooms in Belarus, listening till the game, and it was all Wales. Wales were hammering Norway, loads of chances, and it was 1-0, and then the final whistle blew. Norway beat them 1-0, and I swear to God, you'd think we won the Euros in that change room. The celebrations, I mean, it was definitely one of those like pinch me moments.
Yeah.
That feeling of like, holy shit, we have 2 games left at home against Belarus and for our Islands. Like we actually have a chance to, and that's whenever we started to believe, God, we could do this. So next 2 games is Belarus, Furrows. Belarus is another one I really remember because it was like 1-0, 1 each, 2-1, 2 each, and then we go beat them 3-2. And then Faroe Islands we played them once. So that was us. Beat Faroe Islands at Seaview, and
were you in the playoffs at the
we then qualified for the playoffs. So again, I honestly that whenever we beat Furrows for the playoff, that feeling, it was a better feeling than what it was whenever we actually qualified for the Euros, because it's hard to explain, but like it was like we couldn't believe that we actually got to that stage of the playoff. But see, once the playoff came around, we got Ukraine. It was almost like I knew we were going to qualify, because I was like, there is no way we're getting to this stage and we're not going to do this. So we had this immense belief that we were going to qualify, and we just knew as a team.
What were they like as a team?
So, you know, they were really good in terms of like possession of the ball, moving the ball. Like a lot of the time we defended a lot, and I remember leading up to that game, the first game away, we set up the high press, but what they would have done, there was times where this goalkeepers passed the centre half went back and the ball went long. So we actually worked on that happening. So we wanted the ball to go back to goalkeeper. the ball to come long, us to win the header, and then because they were so open, we'd go score, and that's how we scored. So two things that we worked on. That's how we got our goals against Ukraine. Unbelievable, honestly. Caine Shields was a genius. So we exploited their weaknesses and beat them 2-1. Rachel Furness actually scored one of the goals. Her and Simone scored goals, and she actually broke her shin bone in that game. Aye. I mean, she broke it, went off, came on, like tried to play on with it, but she obviously couldn't, so she had to come on.
And did she miss out on the Euros itself?
She didn't miss out on the Euros itself, no, because Euros like a year later. So we beat Ukraine away 2-1, so we come home, this is the same week, and we're 2-1 up, and we had like so many of our players out injured, like Rachel Furness was amazing throughout the whole campaign, so massive misfires, like Demi Vance had ACL injury, Lauren Wade was out, Mammy McGee, like there was loads of our players was out through injury, and so we got home anyway, Ukraine, and I remembered first time I taped my arm and I put Arquin's name in my arm, and I just had this real feeling. I was like, I'm going to score here today. I don't know why. I just had this feeling. So anyway, we're playing this 0-0 at half time. Caine's giving us our talk, things we need to change and stuff. And we get a free kick. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Have you ever seen the goal that I scored against Ukraine in our playoff? It's bizarre. So it's a free kick. The free kick comes in. I actually wasn't even going to go up, and Julie's like, just go up. So free kicks comes in, Julie. I hits the ball. Right? Hits the ball. Runs after the ball. This is all in the box. Hit the ball down, run after the ball, and just like slid it in and scored. It was weird. Like I assisted myself like to score from a header. It's weird.
That's mad.
Were you there? Did you see that? It was mad. Right foot and everything. I mean, my right foot's are standing on. But it was just one of them goals. It was like, when I look back on, that was just meant to be. That was just meant to be. But anyway, scored that. So we're 3-1 up, and so again, backs against the wall. They were brilliant. I remember just being like, you just give everything to the game.
Yeah.
It was tough. But we just managed to stop them creating that in the final third. And then the last couple of minutes, Nadine Cotwell just sealed it for us. Simone went, closed the ball down, won the ball, Dino come in. She had just come off the bench, come in, dropped the shoulder and scored 2-0.
What was that like?
That was it. That was us, just honestly.
Well,
the party we had after that, oh my god, the celebrations, unbelievable. We just sung all night, unbelievable. Just amazing, and see the closeness we had as a group, because our group was together for years. Like we've been through so much together as a group, and it was just, everything was just worth it in that moment, like what we'd done. So yeah, that whole campaign was just something else, and we'd done it all, a lot of it too, with no fans in the stadiums or anything.
You hear a lot of it, like loads of people saying the journey is better than the destination. Do you think the qualifying campaign was more memorable than the Euros itself?
Absolutely, yeah. Like that whole journey we were on as a team, and even as a person, like we all grew so much, and we all grew up, and Caine coming in made me such a better player. Like, and even at that age, like I was in my 30s. Yeah. And I mean, whenever Caine came in, I found it hard to get a start under him. We had an amazing squad, a real good squad, and it made me go away and really work so hard in loads of different areas that I needed to work on. Yeah. And he was just always honest and open, and see, even whenever we trained, like we just became better players because they were so good in what they done. Dean Shields was our coach. He done a lot of the on-field stuff. Caine was obviously the manager, so I mean it was his brains, the operation, and Dean was able to do it on the pitch. So it was a great. The two of them worked really well together.
Would you train to the same standards that was expected on the pitch?
Oh yes, yeah. I always got that at international level. I mean, always, no matter who you were under, but international level, it was always, because I mean we always train with professional players as well, because we have players that was overseas training, so whenever you were in the international setup, I mean, yeah, you had to be on top of your game. So yeah, like Caine had just brought the whole thing to another level, and that whole campaign was definitely the highlight my career. Well, it's funny
So
because
far.
I remember actually scoring against Portugal many years ago, was it? Don't even know. It actually came up in my memory there. And I remember scoring against Portugal and going, that is the highlight of my career. Like scoring against Portugal was a friendly match. And wasn't I wrong?
See, the Euros itself, you drew England, Norway, was it? And who was the...
The Euros itself was England, Norway and Austria.
I'd say that there was a tough group in itself. You went in the lowest seeded team, was it, in the
I
tournament?
mean, we had no right to be there. So seeing the Euros, it's normally like the top, like 15, isn't it 15, 16, 15 teams in Europe. So it's where you're ranked, and we were like 30 odds, possibly 40 odds. We were like, we had
no right to be there, but just made it there.
But we made it there, and yeah, like real tough. But we played England like 3 times that year. We got them in a friendly, it's at George's Park, and then we'd actually got them in our World Cup qualifying campaign as well. And then we had them in the Euros. So we met each other loads, like within those couple of years.
Knew each other.
Same with Austria. We had Austria in the World Cup, we had Norway in the Euros. So we'd all met each other.
Yeah.
But the thing was, when we were over there, like we knew what they were going to do, but they're just another level.
Yeah.
It was just another level. Like in the England game, like we held them for as long as we could. I actually remember playing them in the World Cup qualifying campaign, and we done brilliant. We held them to like 6 odd minutes. Beth May comes on, bang, scores hat trick. You know, so like their subs just the impact of subs, and they were renowned for that. I mean, they ended up winning the Euros, but whenever they almost had like their starting 11, and they had the players that would have come on as subs, and they changed the game, and it just
quality and depth.
Quality and depth was unbelievable. But in terms of the Euros, I mean, you'd love to do it all over again. Like in terms of what it was, Wembley again. Wembley was our, that was the game we played them in the World Cup qualifying game. So we got to Wembley, and we were really lucky that we got that game there, because England like move around. They don't always play in Wembley. They play in loads of different arenas.
Yeah.
And just so happened our game against them was at Wembley, because whenever we were actually at the Euros, our stadium was St Mary's, in Southampton. So all our 3 games was in the same stadium, so we were able to just stay in the same hotel.
So does a group get allocated a stadium?
No, not even. We were just it was luck of the draw. So every other team had to travel all different stadiums. We just got luck of the draw where we stayed in the same hotel and had all 3 games in the same stadium. But see those 2 years like leading up, like after the qualifying campaign and leading up to the Euros and stuff, like there's so much like unbelievable thing. Like we got to go to St George's Park, train there, play England there, got to go play at Wembley. Like we're going to the Euros, sell out crowds. Like it was just.
I'd say like for the England match at St Mary's would have been a sellout, was it?
Yeah, like sellout crowd. But you know the mad thing, we had a group of Northern Ireland supporters in the corner. So St Mary's is what, 35,000, just a wee bit more. And we had a couple of thousand Northern Ireland supporters in the corner. And I swear to God, no word of a lie, you heard the Northern Ireland supporters over all those 30,000 England supporters, and that's not a lie. And our England was the 3rd match of our group, so it was our 3rd match. The first match was Norway, second match was Austria, I think I've got that right. So the 3rd match against England, after the game finished, we went straight over to our fans and basically celebrated like we literally just won the Euros. And the reason being was because they were amazing, the whole 3 games. And see us getting there was like winning it. Us getting the Euros was like winning it. And do you know what? See, 7 weeks before the Euros, I got a stress fracture in my 5th metatarsal on my right foot. And so I remember actually doing it, and we were playing with Ulster, it was first match of the season. So deja vu here. First match of the season against Ulster, and which felt like I stood on somebody's foot and went over my ankle, or went over my foot. But in hindsight, I didn't think I stood on anyone's foot. It just went on me.
Yeah.
But anyway, next day I went to get the MRI, soft X-ray, come back, stress fracture. I was like, no way. no way 7 weeks away. A couple of days later, back and forth, from our Dr. William. He's seen all the scans and all that there, and he was like, listen, the options are, like, if this was normal situation, you would have to get an operation, and the rehab time's 12 weeks coming back from an operation. He said obviously he knew that I wasn't going to go get an operation if it was plan B, and he says the second option is we just throw everything at it and see how it goes. So I went until I was in a boot. I was in a boot for 3 weeks. Just went, seen a sports nutritionist. She told me all these different kind of things to take in terms of supplements and stuff. And yeah, I just had to pray every single night. Had my Our Lady statue, had everyone lighting candles for me. And I remember after getting my boot off, and obviously I was still involved because we were training full time at the time. So we weren't working at all. We were training full time, and yeah, physio started to build me up. And I remember the first 10 kind of running, being like, God, I'm feeling this. But like pretending the physio wasn't. But I got like insoles and stuff. So once I got the insoles in, it took the pressure away from that bit. So lucky enough, my first proper training session was the day before our first match of the Euros. So I obviously didn't start the first game. Sarah Mack, which I'm was so happy for. Sarah Mack got to wear the armband, and Sarah Mack is an absolute legend of the women's game. If you asked anyone who knows her, she was an unbelievable defender. And she got to wear the armband in the first match and walk the team out, and it was amazing for her to get that experience in terms of leading the team in the first ever European finals. So I come on at half time in that game, and then I played the next 2 games. So again, thankfully, it all worked out for me, and I was able to come in and play. But
what would have been your highlight? So you won the league title in 2022. Was that the first time the Cliftonville won the senior?
First ever.
And that there was that before the Euros or after?
So it was after the Euros.
After Euros.
January, we went in full time with Northern Ireland. So we trained up New Forge every day.
Yeah.
Full time setup. Club, we went 2 once a week, and obviously played the club games. But we weren't allowed to train anymore with club because we were doing so much with international. We had a lot of girls involved in that too as well.
Were the club all right with that there?
They were alright with that, yeah. The club were amazing, to be honest. They worked, because we have a lot of younger ones as well, so we were able to, like our young ones and stuff, were able to get a lot more training, whatever, so it worked out well. So yeah, so the Euros was in July. So after the Euros, we went back to normal life. Landed in Belfast, whatever day it was, back to work a couple of weeks later, and everyone went back to normal life, and the league obviously happened back because the league stopped whenever we were at the Euros. And yeah, we won the league in November 22, first time ever.
How was that there for the club as a whole, and just because you've seen the club from the very start, like Newtown ladies, and then where it is now?
To be honest, I never thought it was going to be possible, to be honest, because we never really had the setup, because again, like Marty came in, there was only one, anytime we had a manager or a coach, they done amazing jobs, but it was just one person. But it all changed obviously whenever the reserve management team came in into before, and them they fought for so much for us. And but to be fair, they got it back from the players. We had a brilliant year in 22, and to be honest, our big rivals are the likes of like Glentoran, Crusaders, always a tough one, Linfield, Sandswifts, they're always the big kind of guns in the league. But the last couple of years, it's kind of been between ourselves and Glentoran. And even winning the league, and the fact going to play Champions League was just unreal. And like didn't even click until we were actually there. Like we played Benfica, like we got an unbelievable draw, because see if you're going to go play the Champions League, you want to go play a team. So we got a draw in Portugal. I mean, who gets to go play Champions League at Portugal against Benfica? Like it was just perfect in terms of the opportunities that we got, and we went over, and again the travel and stuff was tough, because I mean you have budgets and stuff you have to look at, and but we flew over, played Benfica, the hammered us 8-1, but the girls were amazing, like the heat and stuff. The girls
I've watched them today. I watched their match with Leon a few weeks ago.
Incredible.
And I was like, fuck, I was going, Jesus, like some of the play that was going, and that Leon team were very good as well. And I was just like, fuck, we had
Leon's like one of the top teams, like they've won the Champions League so much. So Benfica competing against them, like it just shows how amazing they were. But like we actually played them, and it's mad, it's crazy. But that's what you want. You want to be playing. And although we were getting one scoreline, like the benefit you get from that, it's experience. And then we played the BVB Caddy card or Karagar, or I can't even say the name. It's a Kazakhstan team. Yeah. Kazakhstan team. But see, in our group, like it was 3 of us, right? So Benfica was obviously the top, and then there was 2 other teams. There was Belarus team, the Kazakhstan team. On paper, the Kazakhstan team should have played Belarus in the the Kazakhstan team should have played the Benfica team in the second game, because they were like the second seeds.
Yeah.
But they had something like 30 odd chances and couldn't score, and this Belarus team beat them 1-0. So we ended up getting the 2 hardest teams in the group. But listen, again, we came back 2-2 against them. I actually scored a penalty for first goal in Champions League. Amazing moment, unbelievable moment. 2-2, and then we lost a couple of players. So Caine got us one off, which is just so important for us in terms of her speed and what she brings. And then they came back and ended up beating us. But yeah, we probably should have. I think we would have beat that Belarus team, definitely, hands down. But so unfortunately we come back without a result, and it's important for it would have been amazing if I had got a result, because you're coming back with money for all the clubs. So you come back with 10 grand each for all the clubs. So we were disappointed that we couldn't do that, but at the same time it was incredible.
So did you not get any money at all for even competing?
Yeah, like you do. Like I don't know what that looks like, but you do get. See, once you win the league and once you get into the Champions League, like that's when. Because the more you do that there, then the more the club can invest. But to be honest, the club's been amazing, and the guy Kieran Hardy's come in, and he's took over, and he's doing amazing things, and there's going to be a 5-year plan rolled out, and he sees football as football, and it doesn't matter if you're in 2019 like my wee son, or senior women or senior men. Football's football, and it's going to be interesting to see how it grows in the next 5 years.
Are you still? I know you're with the IFA now at the minute as well. Are you still involved in the academies like set up at Cliftonville?
No, I'm not, because I started that up my last job because I was able to, because I was girls football coach for North Belfast, so it was perfect. So I was able to do after school programme because I was in all the North Belfast schools. So we built it from there. But whenever the international stuff started to get. Whenever I started to heavily focus on the international stuff, I couldn't, because my wee son was born. It was when Kelly Shea's came in 2019. My wee son was born, and I had to take a step back because it was out every night. So Marty Douglas took that on.
Do you find it hard to find a balance at all in your family life and professional life?
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah, I'm actually finding it really hard this year, to be honest. Because I want to win the coaching whenever I retire. What that looks like, I don't know. So I've been doing I just completed my license and stuff. And because I've been out of the coaching side of it for so long, I've been craving to get back into it. So what I've done is I've went into the MPP, so the National Performance Centre, Jordanstown, on a Tuesday night. So I take our 2012s on a Tuesday night. So at the minute, and I started a new job in the association in September. Post-primary development officer, whole new experience for me, so I'm learning loads as well. And so at the minute, I'm obviously Monday to Friday I'm working full time during the day, and then in the evenings I'm out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday with club football, and then I've got the Tuesday coaching. So the only night I have available is Thursday night, and then I'm fitting my gym stuff in between that, and obviously family life and going to see family, and
it's a lot of pressure.
so it's tough. It's tough. Well,
So,
I have a real supportive wife there,
Yeah.
so and the wee man.
just a thank you to the wife.
Yeah, and the wee man, I've tried to bring him. I mean, he's loving football at the minute.
How does your wife facilitate you, and like is she always there in terms of support? Does she allow you to go and like say you have to like do something? Like she'll always be like, right, oh yeah, I'll help out here.
Massively. Like I wouldn't be able to do it without her. And to be honest, whenever I first got back into the international setup, we just started going out, and she was a massive influence to me at that time. I don't know, maybe I was trying to impress her. I don't know. But no, like she's been that one person who's really helped me in every way. Now don't get me wrong, it's not always smooth sailing because it's tough on her as well. Like I'd be away for 10 days, and it's been really busy the last couple of years, and you know she's trying to juggle a full-time job, and all the stresses of that. Being like a single parent basically for 10 days. She looks after her mum as well, and so she has a lot on. But I mean, she never complains.
For pleasure.
And you know she's happy as long as she gets a wee holiday. Every now and again she's happy.
Class. Go on here, just do a few questions. So it's going to be a few quick fire questions, and then just a few questions just as well. So your favourite moment in club football?
Club football has to be winning the league.
Your favourite moment in international football?
Scoring that goal. God, that's a really hard one. Scoring that goal against Ukraine to go through the playoffs.
Well, that actually answers my next one, my favourite goal. So,
as bizarre as it was.
Your favourite team to play? Can be, do international.
See, in terms of favourite goal too, like, I love playing our rivals, Crusaders. Because Crusaders are always going to be our North Belfast rivals. We love playing them. And you know what? It's always a battle. They bring you into a battle, and it's just, you just come out of it knowing you play a match.
And CV as well, like crowd beat on top of you.
They're tough team to play against. And you know what? Fair play to them. In terms of like, I mean, they don't play the nicest style of play, but what they do, they make it hard. They make it hard for you.
Has a moment, I'd say.
That's it. Yeah. And Glentoran, because I mean they're the best team in, well at the minute they have the league title, so they're the best team in the country. So, but it's those, it's the big teams. It's the big games. That's what you want to play in, and even this All Ireland Cup, where we're playing all those southern teams, like they're unbelievable teams. So yeah, you just want a competitive game. And
who'd be your international favourite team to play?
Oh, every game's different. You don't know who you're going to play from one year to the next, you know. So like I suppose that's a hard one to answer.
Not Norway anyway.
A lot of top teams. We've actually got Portugal here, away and home, and Portugal have 12 players, at least 12 players from the Benfica team in it. So that'll be fun.
God bless you. Good luck.
That'll be fun.
Your pre-match meal?
Pre-match meal. So at home, when I'm at home, not away, we're international. Do you know them with Newtown pancakes? I think I seen them on your podcast earlier, or your Instagram. Sorry.
Addicted to them.
All last season, pre-season ritual, 5 o'clock. I'll have my pancakes because they're handy as well. Because if I'm out working in the car or whatever, I'll just have them in the car.
I'll be Oreo spread, all the wee white spread.
And all three of them are equally amazing, like Biscoff, the Oreo, even the raspberry one.
Three raspberry one. The funniest person in football you've met, like the funniest person, say your squad, or can even be yourself?
I have to say, so Nadine Cotwell and Tammy Vance, like they're the two that I'm like closest to in the international setup, and Demi Vance is real sarcastic. She's really sly, like she's one of those people, like either love her or hate her, like she could be like Marmite, because a lot of people don't get sarcasm. So for me, like it would be
your humour.
Demi and Dino.
This could ruffle a few like feathers. The laziest person in football.
The laziest person in football.
God. Or who is not the best trainer?
That's different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say. I'm gonna say. I would say I know any lazy people. But some people, don't train well. And
I'll put you on the
say
spot.
real bad. I don't even want to say it.
I'll put
I don't
you
even
on
want
the
to say it.
spot.
I'll tell you who I'll tell you what. I'll say who the biggest complainer is.
Yeah,
I'll give you that
complainer.
one. We have the biggest complainer on the race, Stan Haddock. Biggest complainer. But in terms of like the worst trainer, it depends what day it is.
Yeah.
Let's
we
just
all
say
have
that.
it, yeah.
We all have our days, but it depends what day it is.
If you were to have a meal with 3 people dead or alive, who are you going for?
Who am I going for, dead or alive? My granny Green, my granny Callaghan, and my nephew Ran.
See, I asked myself this question earlier as well, and mine was off like family members as well. Like there was no one there, like just someone mad out there. I would be family members as well, like 100%.
Definitely. I mean, if you could sit with someone who's dead.
100%. Your death row meal, starter, main course, dessert, drink.
Death row meal. God. Do you know what? Probably my starter, main course. Okay, so starter, I'd probably go for. What do we go for? That's a good one.
It's tough. Like when you put the
right,
starter.
well, I'll go main meal. Do you ever go to James Street South?
No, I've heard.
So they have this steak. So Chateaubriand. Did I say it right? They have this steak, so it's like a short steak, and it comes out unbelievable.
What size is it? Is it massive?
So yeah, like it's short and it's all sliced up and it's cooked to perfection. You get 2 sides for it. You get your sauce, really neat sauce, cause it's that nice. So I've definitely have that as my main. Dessert, anything chocolate. Sides would be the mash and the mushrooms.
I'm a top plate person. I love top plate.
Do you?
I think steaks are nice and burgers are nice.
I've been there like, but it was away last year. I must go back and check it out again.
Actually, like for me, I don't feel like shit after eating it. Like see after food or like you feel like it's heavy on the stomach, where you can actually go out and go and drink after and probably enjoy yourself.
Aye. Because if you went out to like an Italian, no, it'd be hard to make pasta. It'd be straight on the
pizza and all, garlic all down me.
Some a fish too. That's nice to if you want to go.
Yeah, it's nice to make.
But dessert would definitely be something chocolate. I'm obsessed. Love my chocolate.
What's your starter though?
Starter. Well, I do like a buffalo wing.
Buffalo
wings?
Like
a buffalo wing.
Where would be your place to go for wings?
I have to mention are we Cliftonville Road, the Burger Club.
Burger Club, excellent.
I mean, I have to mention them. They're decent.
Their food, just their load of wedges or
decent.
And load of fries, and then.
And every time you go, it's just as nice as the last time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to them. If I wanted to go for wings, I'd go.
Yeah. And what drink are you going for?
What drink? Probably so a chunk of geisha from Zen.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever go to Zen?
Yeah.
Zen's another one. That's another one. Sushi. I love sushi. What am I talking about?
So Burger Club, see you later.
Sushi would be a starter. Can't believe I didn't. It's definitely sushi.
And then who would be the most famous person in your contacts or who follows you?
Most famous person. First person that came to my mind, I'll say the first person that came to my mind is Katie McCabe.
Yeah, that's exactly who came to my mind.
First person came to my mind.
She.
Do you know what?
Her, Katie, if you ever watch this here, we'd love to get you on this podcast.
Do you know what? Such a lovely girl, like so grounded. I know a lot of my teammates in Northern Ireland play against her and think she's. But any dealings I have, or like recently we played them at Aviva Stadium, which again was another amazing moment. Brilliant. So we played them at the Aviva, and Tony Lee, the girl who was talking about earlier, she loves her, like Marja loves her, like a favourite player, and she asked me to get her shirt for her. So of course after the game I said, "Can I have your shirt?" and asked her to send an Orby thing for one of my teammates' wee sisters. And she was lovely, like really really nice. And whenever they beat her, they'd hammer us. Like to be honest, they were decent. And she'd come over after the game and she'd give me a hug and she says, "Keep them together." You know, so like, and she was chatting away and no problem. I'll give you my shirt and was happy enough to sign it. And do you know what? Like she's a top player, top professional, and I admire her. I think she's amazing. Like, see, even that there, like, nastiness in her too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
You need that there. You need like that bit of bite.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Kim Kardashian was at the Emirates watching one of the Arsenal games, and one of her, don't know if it was one of her sons or daughters, but one of them were wearing a cape top. Actually, it was one of the, like, her sons, because I've seen one. Because one of them had a Santa like top on, and the other one had a cape 15 top.
Oh man.
That's what.
And I mean, just, you know, she's only got from down the road. Like, it's incredible what she's achieved.
Stop,
like,
isn't she?
Huh? I think so. But I mean, she was in like FIFA. She got nominated and all for like them awards, and you know, she's doing incredible with Arsenal, and proper leader and legend. And even like, she took over as captain with the Ireland team. I remember seeing recently at a real young age.
Yeah.
So she stepped up at a real young age, like, and I know she's from a big family, and her wee sister, I see that she's kind of following in her today. I see her wee sister's following in her footsteps, so it'll be interesting to see where she gets to. But yeah, like, I had followed Katie. So whenever I had asked her for the shirt, she says, when I go in, like, I'll get it sorted for you. So anyway, you go around and, you know, you're signing all the autographs and stuff. Whenever I went back in, I had said to the kit man, you know, about the shirt or whatever, and he went in and got the shirt and got the thing signed and whatever else. Anyway, after she had sent me a message on Instagram just being like, sorry I didn't get to see you kind of after the game, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So her even reaching out because she wasn't able to come out and give me the shirt, like, was, I thought it was touch class for her. So yeah. Let's go Kitty McCabe. Let's go Kitty McCabe. But see, even on that there, sorry, like, we obviously played them as home and away. We've played them a few times behind closed doors. See, anthems have never been played whenever we've played them, and Windsor Park, that was another wee piece of history made. Both anthems were played at Windsor Park, first time ever, which is amazing.
They got those actually on the news and all.
How's that?
Yeah, like Sinn Féin and all, like all the politicians were there, and see, like, the fans, it was just a mix. It was just a mix of.
They'd be all right there. The politicians, that's PR everywhere.
Oh, I sure, you know, I know what they're like, but yeah, it was decent to be involved in that.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think is there ever any beef? Not beef, but see the way some players switch. Has there ever been that there kind of in the women's game at all?
Not yet, but I'm sure maybe years down the line.
The more, like, especially with the league.
Ireland have so many amazing players to choose from. As I said, they have 12 teams there who are all competitive, top players, fit selling. Their actual international team are all like professional players. They have players from Americans and stuff, and all that. Some different, so like.
Yeah.
For them is to look at us, there would have to be someone top of their game.
He's already not in the international setup already, which is probably going to be very rare.
Yeah.
Something like that there.
Yeah.
When you look back in your career, being a girl like from Divis, how do you think your career's went?
I just think I have been so lucky in terms of the opportunities that I've had, and do you know what, like, I can only be proud of what I've achieved, like, because back then as a young girl growing up, like, I would never have imagined like everything that's happened. And do you know what, I have no regrets in terms of how my career went, even back then whenever, you know, was socialising hard and playing socially and all that there, because I learned a lot in those years, found myself, I suppose, and then obviously these past kind of 5 years has just been incredible. What we've experienced, and yeah, do you know, I don't think I'll properly reflect on it until I finish.
Yeah.
You know, who knows, maybe I'll write a book about it. But yeah, it's just, I'm just so, I mean, pride has to be, I'm immensely proud of even the person I've become in terms of, you know, yeah, just having that self-confidence to just go out and do what you can. And so, you know, I feel really proud that I am as a role model. I think that's the biggest thing. I'll give you an example. A young kid, she was ginger curly hair. She was actually at our match last night, and her uncle reached out to me over Instagram. I know him from down in the scene years ago, and he reached out to me and says, "Would you send a wee video to my niece? It was Christmas."
Yeah.
It's a was it her birthday or whatever? Anyway, so I sent her a photo, happy birthday and all, blah, blah. And next thing, that was her, like, really into, like, loved me and started to come to watch games or whatever. And then whenever he had texted me one time about a shirt, he was like, any chance of getting a shirt? But just so happened our last game at home against Montenegro, I spotted her in the crowd, so I went over and gave her a shirt. So now she calls herself Mini Marissa, like, because I was like, you're like my wee mini me and all, and whatever. But you know what, like, that kid has a role model to look up to. So she now, as she's only 6, 7, she now can go, I want to play for Northern Ireland, I want do the captain on it, I want to play for, for Cliftonville, be a professional, whatever she wants to do. And so I think it's really important that young girls have that.
And if you've influenced or helped one person along the journey, you've done your job.
One person, because I would have loved to have had that at a young age. And obviously we have it, with our family and friends and stuff. See, having that, if I change that kid's life in terms of giving her the belief that she can do anything, as an adult, then it's the job done.
Last question then, what's next?
What's next? Good question. So like as I said, I want to get into coaching, and I don't know what that looks like at the minute, but all I know is I'm building up for it.
Managerial or
we'll just see what opportunities open up. I mean, in the ideal scenario, I'd love to be involved in the international setup. In terms of youth structure, so 15, 16, 17, that kind of age. But obviously, because I've coached the club level, I'm only getting back into coaching after being away from it for a couple of years. So we'll see what opportunities open up. But I'm sure whatever opportunity opens up, I'll reach out with both hands. But I think once I stop playing, the next thing is to offer my experience to the young players and hopefully equip them with things that they need to become whatever they want to, whether that's a coach, a referee, a player, a good person, whatever. So I think, I'm looking forward to it. But we'll see how this year goes, and we'll look ahead. Get 100 caps hopefully, and
I hopefully got. So you have to imagine touching like distance.
Well, I've said it. So
it's on record now.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not meant to be.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, and if it's meant to be, it'll be, and I'll do everything I can to achieve it.
Marissa, thank you very much and for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.